So what is up, squad? This is Conversations with Coaches with your host, Rebecca, and today we're welcoming Alex. So Alex is a certified love and relationship coach who helps bring stability and peace back into your relationships. And after 13 years with her partner, Dennis, navigating long distance, family challenges, starting a business, there is no one more qualified in my mind. So I'm so grateful to have you here. You've also just blown up your Instagram from 15,000 followers to 65,000 followers just in June, which is incredible. So proud of you. Well done. And you're here to share your journey with us, to inspire us in life and in love. So Alex, welcome to the channel.
Thank you so much. That was a really great intro. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, you've done so many great things, so it was really easy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So to give everyone a little context, we met a few years ago at a virtual UPW, which is Unleash the Power Within. It's an event with Tony Robbins. And at the time, we were both you were in the corporate world, I believe. I was still in my 9-to-5 job. So if we go back to that event, now I know that a million things shifted for me, but I would love to know what shifted for you personally at that event.
Yeah, I was actually just out of the corporate world and finding my way. I knew I wanted to become a relationship coach, and I had started having my first beta clients, started to work from home, and UPW was just such, let's say, a door that opened to a whole space that I had never touched upon. Limiting beliefs, my whole mindset, my energy. It was just something totally new that I had never experienced. I mean, doing an event where you're 15, sometimes even up to 20, if I remember correctly, hours on your feet and dancing. And I just remember feeling like a different person, like I was rediscovering myself. And that was very, very powerful. I can go into, realizations and stuff like that. But I think the most important was going back to myself, because, after years of corporate, you kind of fit into a mold, which was okay. I was very happy. But starting a business from scratch is not the easiest. I think, from the outside, we don't realize what that means. And I didn't realize what that meant. So UPW was definitely the first event that made me face my fears, my limiting beliefs, everything. And it was just so powerful to actually work for a few days on just myself and just focusing on myself. And I think that was so powerful. And it continued my journey with Tony Robbins, went on to do certifications for coaching. And it was just a whole journey of personal development that I now love to teach my clients, and just love to be in that authentic place of having done the work before teaching it. And I think that was what I needed. So it was the first step.
I think that's what most coaches need. And I think that's something that when people go to start a coaching business, that they don't necessarily think you can only meet someone else at the depth of which you've met yourself. So people think that coaching sometimes seems like, oh, I'm just giving advice. I give advice all the time, but it's not that. It's actually giving advice from a place of, I've been through this, I've done this, and I can show you how to do it. And I think that that's sometimes more powerful than any qualification. It's great that you have the certifications, and yes, they're important, but at the same time, if you've not done it, no matter what certification you have, then what can you really offer other people? It's a bit like when I see, so for example, if I was looking for a relationship coach, I'm going to look for someone that's in a successful relationship or has navigated some of the challenges that I've navigated. I'm not going to look for someone that's perpetually single, and that's not a disservice to that person. It's just a case of, I'm looking to a coach that has what I want, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%. And I feel that having gone through the journey, whether it was in my relationship, through the challenges we faced, the tools that I learned, how we overcame the roadblocks, and then my personal development through, this first event with Tony Robbins, for example, I get to imagine also what my clients are capable of and be like, wow, I can see what's possible for you. I've been there, done that, and I just can't wait. I get so excited. I just got a client who signed, a few hours ago for our coaching journey together, and I was just so excited to be like, I can't wait for you to be on this journey with me, because I know what's possible, and I just can't wait. And I think that level of excitement, I slept 4 hours today and tried to take a nap. Impossible. I was just so hyped by just, the whole journey that I get to get, people on. And I think that's what is so exciting, to be able to say, I know what's possible. Let's do this together, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. I think that's, as you said, it's from a different place than just learning and teaching, but you're actually experiencing it.
Absolutely. And it's such a gift. And I don't know if you feel this, but do you ever feel like your clients' wins are just like 10 times better than your own all the time?
Yes.
Absolutely. My client messaged me this morning. She was like, I did my first reel and I've never celebrated a reel so hard in my life. It's just wonderful. So yes, I absolutely love that. So transitioning into business, because I think that what happens for a lot of the coaches specifically that I speak to is that they have an interest in personal development, and it leads maybe to an event, or it leads to a mentor or a coach that then brings them into the business world. So I know you came from corporate, but what was the transition like from corporate through finding yourself into helping other people to find themselves and find really fulfilling and loving relationships?
So do you mean the journey in terms of how I even went into the personal development world, or who guided me there, or is there anything specific that would be most useful?
So I wouldn't say there's anything so specific. It's just essentially what your business journey has been like, so that people can get an idea that some people do different things. So you came to it through an interest in personal development, and I'm not sure what you did before Tony Robbins, but you came to it as an interest, and then it grew and grew, and then what business looked like along the way.
Yeah, so I, coming from corporate, it's very, very different than, of course, having your own business or starting from scratch. And I remember starting my Instagram account just as a hobby while I was at my corporate job, and then making this full time now, where I'm most active. And the personal development, I've done a lot of trainings here and there, just a little bit for my own curiosity, before the Tony Robbins event, before I left my corporate job years ago, when Dennis and I, so my partner and I, faced challenges. I would learn tools and skills, relationship tools and skills. And when I started my business, I said, I think I need to learn more about just myself and how I deal with challenges, because now I'm on my own, and I was very clear, I don't want to look back and go back to corporate, although I could, and I really, really loved it. It was just a decision, and to say, okay, from now on, I move forward. Whatever happens, I'm going to move forward. And so the first month, I remember leaving my corporate job, and I was already investing in a whole business program to help me with content, with copywriting skills, with understanding, people. And it was just such a refresher to be like, wow, I can learn this for my business. And then alongside it, have events for my personal development, because you do face roadblocks. You're like, okay, where do I start? Or you maybe have some scarcity mindset, or, it's a whole transition. So I feel like that's been a journey to actually cut ties from my limiting beliefs, or my, a lot of mindset shifts that I had to make. And that's where I, sought some support for my own personal development, but also for the business side, so that I could say, okay, I'm starting from, I hope, the right foot. Let's see where this takes me. And, I don't know if this is to your question, but in the very first stages of leaving my corporate job, I joined some Facebook groups, and one of them was where I connected with people that I'm still in contact with today, that I've now created a mastermind with, that we meet every single week. And so that was another part, is to say, how can I, as you said, before this call, is how can I surround myself with people in the right, not in the right mindset, but in the same journey, or who are maybe also starting their businesses. And that was so crucial. So I feel like I had these three parts. One was for the business, one was personal development, and the other one was more like peer group, or, that energy that you want to have, because people around you don't necessarily do the same thing, or don't understand, even if they're very supportive. You want to still have someone you can just, bounce ideas off, or share challenges and get some insights. So I'd say those were very crucial in where I am today in that sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm 100% with you on that. And I think that that is what we said before this call, is because I've identified that most of us do not have those people around us that are like, yes, like you're saying, people can be as supportive as they like, but if they're not in the ring with you, they don't know what it's like to be like, what am I going to post today? Gosh,
Exactly.
like I want to be ahead of my content, but I can't seem to write 2 words on in my notes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that that's so pivotal. And I think that as well, marrying personal development and business, I always say there are no business problems, there are only personal problems, because any business problem can be solved with a little bit of resourcefulness and a positive attitude, because then you can open yourself up to, well, maybe I do need to seek support, or maybe I do need to read this book or action this thing. And I think that there really are no business problems. It's just a case of, where do we feel personally? So I love that you so intricately put those 3 areas are what you essentially needed to go from one to the other. Now, obviously, there's a whole lot else in there. And I think one of those things is intrinsic motivation. So I would love to know, what is it that motivates you and that continues to motivate you? Because especially I find this, maybe you find the same with your clients. If you love your job to start with, I loved my job as a careers advisor, and you love being in corporate, then it would be even easier to go back, because you're not leaving your job because you absolutely hate it and you can't even get up in the morning because you just don't love it. You're actually saying no to something that you really like to have a different life and have something that you love. And that can be even more challenging. So what is it that motivates you?
That's a great question. I have a friend who just sent me a message yesterday, and I responded. She said, wow, you're so disciplined after so much time, like you work a lot. And if I were you, I would not know how to stay so motivated and disciplined. And so she asked me the same question. And I responded with, when you know why you're doing what you're doing, it's much easier. And I have this kind of big hope and big belief that people deserve relationship resources, because we don't learn how to do relationships or overcome challenges or communicate in healthy ways. And experiencing firsthand people around me struggle in their relationships and being like, but I have tools and I know what you could do and I have answers and I would love to support you. That feeling is what keeps me motivated, because I'm like, you deserve to know. I found a lot of peace and a lot of stability. And I just wish that for other people, because it's such a good feeling to be able to, even this morning, just joke around with my husband, and we've been together for more than 13 years. And it just, as if I look at that outside, I'd be like, what did I would love to know what that couple did to reach that point. And that's what I want to help others do. And so I feel like on a daily basis, when I get messages on Instagram, for example, or emails, I get reminded of the daily struggles that people go through. And it reminds me that I have tools to help them and to support them. And so that kind of seeing the need and being like, there are solutions is what motivates me so much, because it's like, I want to empower you. I don't want to, I don't want you to feel helpless anymore or to feel confused, just even confused. What do I do when I have a challenge? And I feel like that's a big, big motivator, because it's been so crucial for me. And they say, healthy relationships are one of the, biggest predictors of happiness, something like that. So it is really true. If you have healthy relationships, life is so different. And that's I'd say the biggest motivator is to see that there are tools out there, and I can teach that. And I'm so excited to teach that, because I get to see people go from very confused and stuck to absolutely confident in their relationship, about their future with their partner, and know how to communicate, know how to overcome challenges. And that's huge. So maybe also because it's tied to my personal life. I mean, relationship is something that, I'm in every day. So I get reminded also every day of like, oh, wow, I just, was maybe angry today or tired today or upset, but I handled it very well compared to me 10 years ago or me 5 years ago. And it just motivates me to say, I'd love, I can't wait to teach this to my clients next week, because they're going through the same thing. So I feel like that's a constant reminder of why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah.
And I think once you've experienced it, then, like we were saying kind of back at the beginning, is you can lead someone through it, but you can lead them through it faster. something that
Yes.
you had to
True.
deal with
True.
for, months or years, you can say,
True.
here's what's happening. I can see what's happening.
Yes.
I can see what's happening because I did that. Or I can see what's
Mm-hmm.
happening because I've done enough learning that I can see that this is what's going on, because we don't
True.
question our own beliefs. We don't see
Mm-hmm.
it. It's a case of perspective. It's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And we could go off on that for a really long time. But I think that when we just bring it back, it's a case of, you can actually lead someone through it so much faster as a coach. And that's a complete gift, because you can say, here's the tool, instead of sift through 100 books and find one thing that's going to work.
Yeah.
Sift through the 100 books. And
exactly.
I also would love to pick up on a point that you said about people's, if they have a healthy relationship, their life is better across the board. Now, there's neurological research to support that. I just went to a talk by a gentleman called Bo Leto when I was in Ibiza, and he was talking about the relationship that we have between ourselves, our relationships, and the love of our home. So it's new research that's being developed about how we believe that the home is like a sentient being, essentially. But in one of I remember this so clearly, we had like graphs, because it's all science. So it's very graph orientated. So there was this graph, and every single time there was a relationship, it was like the top of the board. Like if you had a partner, then you were happier than everyone else in every single area of this chart. And I was like, life is just better with someone in it. But I know that there's such a rise in, especially in the independent women. And I think that we think we have to be so independent and we can't have people help us. But my goodness, my life is so vastly improved by having my partner in it to support me, and me supporting my partner, because not only are you loved, but you're being loving. And that's just the top tier. So that's really beautiful that those are the things that motivate you. And I would love to know if there was someone quite distinct in your journey that was the most influential mentor, that on those days where maybe you do feel like, oh, like I need a little bit of a boost, like, because we all have those days that are harder, who is it that you look to? Who has impacted you the most?
That's a good question. I kind of have, again, three buckets, I almost feel, if I have to be honest. I'd say, well, first of all is Dennis. We work from home, so he sees me, and he's seen my ups and downs, and he's been, there when I needed support the most. So I think he's the person who's seen everything firsthand. So definitely a lot of support there, although he is in a very different industry, very different position. But just a level of understanding, at least for some parts, has been so crucial. Then for more the business side, it's been the mastermind that I talked to you about before. Since we meet every week, but we also have a chat group. Just like today, I said, I'm struggling to know between this and this, what would you pick? Can you give me a suggestion? Just that, and having that peace of mind, and having actual expert coaches give you their insights and resources. They're in totally different areas, but that would be, one, let's say, bucket of mentors. And the last one, I'm actually going to add a fourth one if I can, because I recently connected with another relationship coach who said, who wants to connect, would be so nice to connect with other like-minded people. And we connected, and it was so expensive to talk with her. And now we connect also nearly every week. And I'm looking to expand the group to more relationship coaches, because I feel like it's more about collaboration than competition. Yes, a lot of people try to compete online, et cetera, but I found that there's so much collaboration, and we do similar things, but very differently. And we have our own style. And I feel like that's been really amazing in the past, let's say, I think 2-3 months since we connected, that it's been a whole new expansion for me, to have someone in the same position, industry, same, even size of audience on Instagram. So very, very similar, actually, which is so interesting to be like, okay, how can we help each other out? And the fourth one that I wanted to get to is, if I think about it, it is my family, and specifically my parents. My dad was the one who introduced me to all of the Tony Robbins events, the certifications, as well as he's gone through some of them as well. And just like someone who can help me raise the bar, and someone who can think bigger, and who sees my potential. And I feel like that's been huge. And my mom as well, as she's becoming a relationship coach as well. She is a relationship coach.
Amazing.
She was, taking care of us up until we went to university. So now she's fully getting into the relationship coaching journey. And she introduced me to my first relationship tool back, I don't know, it was 10 years ago, I think. And I feel like that was like planting a seed in my whole journey. I was like, wow, there are things to overcome differences with Dennis. We're very different. So there is something out there. So I just mentioned a whole list, but I feel like it's a whole support system that, is really pivotal for different reasons and for different things that I go to. So it's less about one person, but it's more about, depending on what I'm going through, I might reach out to these different people. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think as well, they say that to raise a child, it takes a village. I think to raise a business, it takes a village too.
That's
like your business becomes a little bit like your baby.
Yeah.
So I think that it does. It takes more than one person. And I think that's beautiful that you have different people you go to for different things, because I always bang out on about wise counsel. And I think that we are all wise counsel in different areas. So I wouldn't necessarily go to my parents to ask about marketing.
Exactly.
So we would go to different people to ask for different things. So that's a really beautiful answer. And yes, you can have 4 and or more influential mentors in your life. I think it's beautiful to have that level of support. And I'd be interested to know, with everything that you've gone through so far, and at this point in your business, because we are an amalgamation of everyone that we're around, we're also an amalgamation of our own thoughts and belief systems that we hold currently. So what right now would be your message that you would want to share? If you could share one thing with the whole world, what would it be?
That's a good question. If it would have to be a sentence or two, I'd say take care of your relationships. And it's totally fine to seek guidance, because you're not taught how to do relationships. We seek support in so many other areas, but not relationships. And we feel sometimes guilty or bad about that, or weird. And you get to know how to have a healthy relationship. So I'd say make your relationships a priority, and you'll see how other areas of your life just get better.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for that.
Sure.
So as we are also a business channel, I would love to know. So first of all, again, I do want to say like a massive congratulations for the blow up on Instagram, because I know that came with a lot of hard work. So well done. And what are your next steps from here?
So first of all, thank you. Thank you so much. It does come with a lot of different efforts. I'd say, so now I'm currently focusing on my private coaching clients, but very soon I'll be releasing something that I've been working on for the past year and that I've had in mind since I started, that will be here to create more options for people to invest in their relationship, in a different way, in different areas of their relationship. So I'm creating this whole ecosystem for them to find resources for their relationship. And that would be my next step, is to be able to help more people, because private coaching is limited in capacity. I can only coach a certain number of people per week. So, and it also comes with an investment, not only in money, but also time and energy. So I'm looking to do more self-paced courses, etc. So that's next, to be able to serve my community also in different ways and have different options, because I know that they've been asking for it, and that's something that I've always wanted. So yeah, that's the very next thing, I'd say.
Amazing. I look forward to seeing what that ecosystem looks like. That will be wonderful. So where can people find you? Because I'm sure that there's plenty of people that are thinking right now, I would love to up level in my relationships.
Yeah, so main channel would be Instagram. That's where I'm mostly active. You can find me on other channels like LinkedIn or TikTok, but I'm not that active there. So I'd say Instagram is the number one platform you can find me on, and it's Toolbox for Love. So you'll find me there.
Amazing. And what do you have coming up? Is there anything that people can sign up to that's coming up, or?
So I'd say, for the moment, until the next thing comes out, let's say, I do have a free communication guide that people can sign up to anytime. And I know people have been loving it and have been having really amazing, healthy conversations with their partner just from the free resource, apart from their free content on my posts. So I'd say that that would be the next step if you're looking to have a, healthy conversations, get closer to your partner, more connected, and feel like you're on the same page, maybe about a specific topic. It could be different topics. That would be the place to go, as I've created that specifically to have a safe space to talk until the next thing comes up. That would be,
that's the first step. Perfect. Yeah. All right. So before we go, we always like to do a quick fire round.
Perfect.
Are you feeling ready? Are you ready?
Go for it.
So first of all, what are you reading right now?
I'm always going back to this book called The 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. I love to read a few chapters. I don't know if you know that one, but that's a really good one, I feel. Yeah.
I'm going to check that out. That sounds really up my street. I'm going to check that out for sure. And what does your morning routine look like right now?
Changes a little bit, but I love to wake up early. I see that my brain works very well in the morning compared to the afternoon or evening. So I tend to get in a few hours of work, respond to messages, client messages, DMs, post a few stories, and then, or get very important tasks done before midday, and then either work out or have lunch with Dennis. So we have very different sleeping habits. So I get my work hours in the morning in while he's still sleeping, because he's a night owl and I'm the early bird. So that's a really good time for me to just have focus work. And sometimes I meditate, sometimes I do a workout, sometimes I put some music on and just shake it off if I have to change tasks. So it just switches up a little bit, but I'm definitely on the early morning side to get things done that are really important.
Yeah, absolutely. We're both early morning risers in our house, so we're really fortunate that we can both get each other up at 4 a.m. and we're like ready for the day. We love a 4 a.m. rise in our house. So that is enough about me, because this is your quick fire round. So what affirmation are you living by right now?
So it's more of a question than an affirmation, and that I actually, I actually created it during a Tony Robbins event back in December, as I was feeling very stuck in my business and more like anxious and stressed, content creation, all of the things you have to do on your own. And I kept going back to, what will others think? Kind of the, that side of me. And now I live by, how can I show up authentically to serve the world? And it's a whole different vibe. I've been creating my content very differently. It's in a much more peaceful state. And so that question has been very useful, is to just check what I'm telling myself and the question I'm asking myself. So
amazing. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for your time today, Alex. We're so grateful.
Thank you.
Is there any last minute parting words that you have?
Thank you for having me. It's just, very grateful. Thank you.
So grateful to have you in my life as well. I'm really grateful to have, because before my journey even started, then we were connected, and to have watched you grow has been such a gift. So really grateful to know you. Everyone must check out Toolbox for Love. I'll link everything in the description below. And if anyone has any questions for Alex, then please hit up the comment section. And thank you so much. We'll see y'all next week.
Thank you.